Hello friends, this is Rajeev Khandelwal from Webtel, and today we'll be talking about the new income tax rates option of which has been given in section 115 BAC and for which Form 10I is to be filed. So we'll see various details in which cases Form 10I is to be filed and in which cases it's not required and other things. Before proceeding, I would request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel Webtel Electrosoft and also press the bell icon so that you will receive notifications regarding latest videos, educational videos being uploaded for you on this portal. So let us see the applicability of the new scheme or new regime of taxation under section 115 BAC, which offers low rates of income tax. So this scheme is only applicable to individuals and HUF. It's not applicable to other assessees like firms, etc. Let us see the applicability of Form 10IE. It is applicable only to assessees who are opting for the new scheme of income tax under section 115 BAC. So that means that assessees who are opting for the old scheme or in fact would continue with the old scheme because that's the default scheme, there is no need to file Form 10IE whether it is a business assessee or a non-business assessee. There is no need to file Form 10IE if he is continuing. So let us see who has to opt for the new scheme, what is to be done in the case of salaried and other non-business assessees and business assessees. In the case of non-business assessees or salaried persons, etc., if they are opting for the new scheme, there is no need to file Form 10IE. Selection of scheme in ITR is sufficient. Whereas in the case of a business assessee, it is mandatory to file Form 10IE if he is opting for the new scheme, and option is to be given in ITR also. This option is to be selected in ITR. Are you opting for the new tax regime under section 115 BAC? So you have to say yes if you want to opt for the new scheme. So in the case of a business assessee, both things have to be done. This option is to be selected also, and also 10IE is to be filed, whereas in the case of non-business assessees, this selection of this option in ITR is sufficient. Let us see the applicability of 10IE for various ITRs. So in the case of salaried and other non-business assessees, Form ITR 1 and 2 is applicable, and here you do not need to file Form 10IE even if you are opting for the new regime. Whereas in the case of business assessees who opt for ITR 3 and 4, they have to file Form 10IE. And obviously, if Form ITR 4 is filed by a firm, in that case, this form is not applicable because this new regime or the new scheme is applicable only for individuals and HUF. Now, a very important question arises: is filing of ITR or Form 10IE by the due date is necessary, essential, or mandatory? If one is opting for the new scheme, let us see in both the cases. In the case of salaried and other non-business assessees, ITR must be filed by the due date. In case of belated return, old scheme shall become applicable automatically. Whereas in the case of a business assessee, Form 10IE must be filed by the due date of the ITR. Otherwise, old scheme shall become applicable. Important thing to note is that ITR can be filed after due date also. There is no need to file ITR by the due date in the case a person who is opting for the new scheme. So he must file 10IE by the due date of the ITR, but ITR can be filed subsequently even if it is not filed in time. Obviously, as on the moment we are talking about on 25th of August, the due date is 30th of September in the case of non-business assessees to whom audit is not applicable, and in the case of business assessees, the due date in the case of audit cases is 30th of November, and for others it is 30th of September. So for non-business assessees, ITR must be filed by this due date, and in the case of business assessees, Form 10IE must be filed by these due dates. Now let us see what are the consequences of not filing ITR or Form 10I by the due date. In the case of salaried and other non-business assessees, old scheme shall become applicable for assessment year 21-22, and one can opt for the new scheme in any future year in ITR filed by the due date. Even for assessment year 22-23, you can go for a change of the scheme. So no issues. Every year we can do the change if we are a salaried person or a non-business assessee. But in the case of a business assessee, old scheme shall become applicable for assessment year 21-22 and all subsequent years. It's important to note that the scheme will not become applicable only for this year, but even for all subsequent years. One can opt for the new scheme only once in lifetime by filing Form 10I again. This change of scheme is allowed only once in the lifetime of the business, in which case he has to file Form 10I again. Obviously, if there is no business or profession in future years, then he can revert to the scheme every year like a non-business person. So, in fact, a business assessee will be converted to a non-business assessee. So, in which case the scheme can be changed every year. Another question: can assessee change scheme of tax after filing ITR or Form 10IE? Let us see. In the case of a salaried person or a non-business assessee, he can change the scheme of tax in revised ITR. Yes, he can change the scheme of tax in the revised ITR, but important to note that this must be filed by the due date. If revised ITR is filed by the due date, he can change the scheme of tax. If he went for the old scheme in the original ITR, then he can go for the new scheme and vice versa. But it is important to note that this revised ITR must be filed by the due date. In the case of a non-business, in fact, in the case of a business assessee, now let us see, where in this case, Form 10I once filed cannot be withdrawn or revised. So please exercise the option very carefully, because 10IE once filed cannot be withdrawn or revised. So if one has opted for the new scheme in Form 10IE in assessment year 21-22, you cannot revert to old scheme for this assessment year 21-22. Change is allowed once only from assessment year 22-23 onwards. Even in the next year he can do the change, but thereafter no change will be allowed. Now another question: which is to be filed first, Form 10IE or ITR? Obviously, in the case of non-business assessees, this question does not arise because they do not have to file Form 10IE. But in the case of a business assessee, both have to be filed. So first he has to file Form 10IE. Then in the ITR, he has to give the date and acknowledgement of filing Form 10IE in the ITR, and finally he can file the ITR. Now let us see how the filing of Form 10IE is to be done. Let us see what are the category of IT forms in the portal. They are divided in three categories: business forms related to the person who is carrying on business or professional income, and other persons who have other income like salary, income from house property, etc., but not business and professional income, and some other forms for which the source of income is not relevant. Here at the portal you can see this is Form 10IE, and in fact it should have been there under this category. Form 10I should have been under the category of persons with business or professional income, but the department has shown it under this category: persons not dependent on any source of income, that is, the source of income is not relevant. So Form 10I we have to file. Obviously, the option to file this form for exercise or withdrawal of option under this section is available, and we can obviously do the filing at the portal. But obviously you will need internet connectivity, and if the site is not working, you will not be able to file. And as firms, CA firms, you will have to do this filing for many of your assessees. So we have given an option in Webtel software. But before that, let us see what details are to be given in Form 10IE. The details of the assessing officer, basic information, additional information, and verification. These four data are to be provided in Form 10IE. And as I said, due to internet connectivity or the site not working, there would be issues in filing Form 10IE on the portal. So we have given this facility in WebTax software so that you can do the filing from WebTax itself of 10E also, besides the various ITRs. So first of all, the basic information is to be provided, and they're asking the question whether the individual or HUF has any income under the head profits or gains of from business profession. In fact, this question is not required. This question is not needed because this form is applicable only to people who are having income from business or profession. In any case, you can proceed further. And here they have provided a list of 22 businesses. This is the list, and you can select one of them. And there is no option to select multiple businesses. So you can, if you have multiple businesses, you can select one of them, your main businesses here. In subcategory of business is to be provided, we have selected computer and related services. So the subcategories are these. Here you can select multiple categories. So you can select software development, data processing, or other IT enabled services also. So multiple selection for subcategory is allowed. This is how in WebTax you can select the main business and the subcategories which are multiple. In additional information, they are asking whether option has been exercised in Form 10IE for any previous year, or it is being withdrawn, or previous year in which the option was exercised, date on which option was exercised, etc. This is not relevant for assessment year 21-22 because this is the first year. Then comes the verification portion where you have to exercise or withdraw this option provided by this section. But obviously this option of withdrawal of this option is not applicable for assessment year 21-22 because this is the first year. In place they are showing the IP address of the computer or the laptop from where you are doing the filing. This seems to be a change. Earlier we used to put the city's name, New Delhi or Mumbai or Kolkata, whatever. But now they are picking the IP address. This also shows that they know from the system from where the filing is being done, and if some issue arises later on, this can be verified by them. So this is also a change. A few things which should ensure before filing Form 10IE. One is that the details of the authorized signatory need to be updated in the case of HUF in the profile. This must be done before filing Form 10IE, then only you can file this form. And also if you are wanting to use DSC for filing 10IE, then this DSC should be registered in the individual login of the individual or the authorized signatory in the case of HUF. And obviously filing of the various forms can be done either by using the digital signature certificate or the electronic verification code or EVC prompt. So these were the things which I wanted to tell you about filing of 10IE. I hope I have made things clear for you, and if still there are issues, you can write to us and we will try and help you out on that. Thank you so much.